And our tip of the week today is adding landscape to a rendering. So in ArchiCAD, as we know, there are a number of options for planting and landscape. Some of them are 3D elements and some of them are 2D elements. The 3D elements are nice because they're 3D. The only problem with them is that the higher level of amount of leaves we have in here, which adds quality and makes it look more real, the slower it is in terms of the polygon count, because the polygon count increases with details. So that means that it becomes more difficult in ArchiCAD to be able to create those renderings, right? We use that, which is why we use some tools like Twinmotion or Enscape to put plants into, because ArchiCAD doesn't handle plants as well, unless you're using something like ModelPort to control that polygon count, which we have clients doing now as well. But within ArchiCAD's own default options here, you can see we're fairly limited. It's not the greatest, but sometimes it does work. Some people use these with, I've seen it quite a lot with just a simple kind of circular, almost a bulb-looking tree in schematics, which can look nice. But we can also do image-based, which actually looks quite real. It's very fast to use, and as you can see, they're just 2D, right? If I turn it to the edge, it's 2D. But when I'm doing a rendering and straight on, it looks actually quite real, and it can actually also cast a shadow. And you can select from different types within here as well. And you can tell the differences if you've not done this before. The ones that are icons that look like they're kind of multi-layered here, those are 2D type options. Like this one's a good example, the evergreen, the palm trees, whereas this palm tree is a model. This palm tree is your 2D image-based landscape element, as is the pine tree. Another good way of doing this is actually from one of my clients. And what we did here, or what they did here, is to basically take these same trees that you're seeing here, the 2D trees, and rather than taking it out to Photoshop and then overlaying it with trees in the background to create this kind of silhouette, they did it with just the 2D trees. And what they did is to simply select a transparency, which you can do for these trees, set them to be just a single color, grayscale, which you can also do. And then by doing that, you can see that you can create a really nice kind of fade off of the trees here. And this is a 3D model. So that means as I move around here, I can change a view, and these trees will stay there and move with me. So this is another good effect that you can do using the trees in ArchiCAD, in addition to using them for realistic purposes as well. Now, there are third-party landscape elements out there that you can use to give more realism to ArchiCAD in terms of trees. As I mentioned, if you want to go to other places like 3D Warehouse, or I think it's called Xfrog, which has realistic trees that you can download. All those are high polygon count ones, and will slow ArchiCAD down, but you can use ModelPort to import those types of objects in and give some really nice realism to your scenes. But you need to use ModelPort in order to control the polygon counts of those objects. Another option is to use ArchiRadar. ArchiRadar has some amazing trees that you can download and bring into ArchiCAD. If you've not done that before or don't know about this, it's archiradar.it, because it's from Italy. And just go to their 3D trees section. And this is a good example. This is from DeForest Architects. They did a presentation for us about maybe a year ago. We're showing how they were using some of these trees in there. And so these are trees that are, obviously they're up in Seattle, so they're native to sort of that area of the Pacific Northwest. And you can see where they really look quite real in here. And this is really a good alternative. There are trees that can be controlled in terms of the detail level, so you can do that. There's parameters in there for you to do that. There's also a parameter in there that every time you place the tree, it will place a unique version of that tree, which is really nice too. So if you place a dozen of these types of trees in here, they don't look the same. You can place one tree, places the next tree, it changes the size, the height, the way the tree looks, etc. So, there's a nice little feature in there that allows you to do that too. And then, as I mentioned, the nice thing about those transparencies is that you can really, utilize, bring in trees, bring in plants, etc., and then place them down as long as they have a transparency to them, right? Onto using your Photoshop, right? Photo editing type process. And so these are good examples where we brought these trees in from different sources or plants in from different sources. They all had a transparency to them, so we didn't have to sit there and do a lot of work with it. And if you've not done this before, there's a lot of places you can go out. This is a HiClipArt, which is a good place to go. It's a community of designers who share and download transparent ping clip arts. So it's if you're looking for a place where you've got other types of artists or architects sharing these kinds of things, this is a good one to go to. There's a number of places out there you can go to. Some charge you for the fee, like Adobe has a huge database of it, for example, as does Dosh, I think it is, and some others. And there's also free ones you can download. The key is you want them to have transparent backgrounds so you don't have to do all that work. And so these are good examples where, someone's gone in, they've spent a lot of time and a lot of work taking out the background around these plants so that you don't have to. Trees, same thing. And then again, these trees or plants can also in ArchiCAD, when you use those image trees as I was showing you, you can also select a tree image if you want to externally. So you could download one of these trees as an example. Maybe it doesn't exist in ArchiCAD, and you could use another one of these trees as a image within ArchiCAD as well as you could within Photoshop. So both are definitely possible. And then, of course, people. There's, this particular one has not just, I'm sorry here, I forgot to change this. This is not Dosh Design, but this is another option here. I forgot to take that one out. But Dosh Design is another option out there, but I went to theirs before this presentation. I noticed that they may not still have these in here and couldn't find them. That's why I tried to find another resource for you. But in any case, this is a good resource to do that. And then, of course, when you do this, what's nice about it is you layer it onto it, right? So here we have ArchiCAD as a default. When we bring the image into or from ArchiCAD, and then we can layer these types of images right onto it.